What's going on, people? Welcome back to the match preview. We are back looking ahead to a Premier League tie after a 1 week break against Manchester United. As always, if you do enjoy the content, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe, and also comment down below your thoughts ahead of the game. Today, I'm joined by T, Patrick, and AJ. Gents, how we doing? We're coming after the deadline day. We've got a few new signings ahead of this game. How are we feeling? Let's start off with you, T, going into this game. I mean, we got a result against them fairly recently, only about 2 games ago at our ground. Of course, we're traveling away from home. It's going to be way more difficult like that. They are on form as well. But T, just going into this game, are you still optimistic based on what we saw in the first round of games we had against them?
I mean, the reason why I'm optimistic is because we've had 2 games in a row where we've been pretty defensively resolute. So I think that if we have the opportunity to go into Old Trafford and put in another solid defensive performance, I think we get a result out of it.
Patrick, in terms of the actual game and how we stand right now, we're 2 games unbeaten going into it. One of them was, of course, against Manchester United, where Elisa had that fantastic free kick that went in the last minute. Do you think having this week break helps us, especially with our momentum? Does it having a break and working on things, would that boost us? Or do you think, having that 1 week off could potentially make us, take a step back and relax a bit? When you have the games going fast, back and forward every single week, it helps you with especially with the momentum. But for you, are you concerned about this week break? Do you think it can also impact us negatively?
I'm thinking it should help us. United have got the League Cup matches they played, the FA Cup games. They're playing today as we record. We haven't had a match in over a week and a half. It should help us, but I'm just looking to gather some momentum. As you guys said, we've got the back-to-back draws. The points have been important. We've got 2 new signings we need to bed in as soon as possible. We're missing Wilf, but hopefully the training with the new 2 players over the next couple of days will help. We'll get them in the lineup at some point, and we can push on. But it's going to be difficult, man. United is a very, very difficult team to play, especially at Old Trafford. Let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
especially
AJ,
late.
Exactly. They're red on form. But the positive is today, whilst we're recording this, it seems like they have gone with a stronger lineup. So hopefully fatigue plays a part there, which is positive. I don't know why they have, because they're literally 3-0 up against Nottingham Forest. So yeah, I hope that helps us in terms of our boost, and hopefully we manage to get a result like that. But it's still not going to be easy. But for you, AJ, look, let's go straight onto the actual big talking point going into this game. No, it's not about the new signings. People are forgetting that Wilf, he's out. He's not going to be available for a few weeks. So how should we approach this game in terms of replacing Wilf? Is it a case of putting Edward there? Is it putting maybe the likes of Eze out wide? What would you like to see going into this game?
I mean, it's an interesting one, because obviously it could potentially be a sign of what's to come. Obviously, we kind of resided ourselves potentially to Wilf leaving in the summer, so this might give us a little slight preview of what's to come, or life without Wilf, if you will. And what a big test with a team like Man United. I think, in all fairness, I'd like to see, based on trial and error and what I've seen, I'd probably go with Edward, and then probably persist with Mateta up front, because United have got some nasty centre backs in Varane and Martinez, who's not shook and scared of a scrap. So I think we need some kind of solid presence in that box. I don't think the idea of IU going centre up front or Edouard up front by himself will work against United at Old Trafford, especially with the form they've been on. I know we picked up the draw with them, but that was with a emerging Chris Richards, and on top of that, a surprising emergence of Chris Richards. And then also you've got to take into consideration no Wilf, which we've obviously kind of circled around and said straight away already. But if we're being practical and being realistic, Eze is more effective and predominantly more productive in that sort of number 10 role, that central midfield attacking role. So I think putting him on the wing would be a waste of his talents and his ability. That's why, personally, if it was my decision, I'd go with Edouard. Or if he is persistent with playing IU, then perhaps maybe trying Elise on the other wing, giving him a chance to step up and be the main man. And the factor now that we've got the additional 2 midfielders there, that gives us a chance to kind of maybe free up some space where players have been sort of forced or plugged into out of position areas. So we got a lot to work with there, man.
So Mateta did actually start the last game against Manchester United, if you guys remember.
Yep.
And he was a physical presence, but he didn't have the greatest of games in terms of actually, bringing the ball down and involving others. And then Vieira actually decided to substitute him off. And when he did, there was 3 subs that came on. And when that happened, that's when we kind of clicked a bit better. We changed in midfield, we changed up front. So for UT, I mean, I like the idea of potentially Mateta starting this game just for the physical presence side of things. I think he asks Man United defenders questions like that. And if it doesn't work, we can also make them changes throughout the game, because right now, if it ain't Mateta, I'm not too sure if Ayew is the man going forward up front. But for you, do you think Vieira might make that change and he might go back to Mateta starting up front against Manchester United, because we already saw what he could potentially do and not do?
It might be interesting to see, because I think all of it has to do with how pleased Vieira was with the way we started that match with Mateta up top. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he made that switch halfway through the match.
Yeah.
Like,
we're creating chances with him.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Yeah, so, and I think, you making a switch that early means that you're pretty unhappy with what you're seeing from your squad. You know what I'm saying? So if they do decide to go with him up top again, I don't think you'll see Edouard in the 10 like they had him before. I think you'll probably see him kicked out to the wing, and then they'll probably slot in Eze behind Edouard, because Eze equals chance creation. That's what he does. I mean, that's his lane. That's his forte. So if you got him in there, regardless of who's up top, I think you got a better chance of creating some things. But if not, I mean, we looked pretty good against them when Edouard was playing through the middle, in my opinion. And we brought Eze in the 10. So honestly, with the need of having somebody out on the left, I don't know, maybe throw Ayew on the left and have Edouard up top with Eze behind. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of options that Vieira has right now, what he could do. So I'm interested to see, though.
Yeah, I would like to see Edouard out wide. And even if it doesn't work, I'd like to see JP maybe start up front to see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
You never know. He might have one of those games where he just causes them problems and the defenders have something to think about. Because Eze playing out wide, he's not a wide player. He's not. And that's where you take away from his game. And you're talking about a player that's currently out of form, in all honesty. So putting a player that's out of form in a position that he's not better suited to, it doesn't really help anyone, Mm-hmm. So for me, I'd like to see Eddie start out wide. And then afterwards, if it doesn't work out, you can make them changes like we did during the game. But for you, Patrick, let's talk about the new signings. That's a big question as well.
Before we get to that, I want to just talk about Wilf again. Anybody remember the last time Wilf did not play for Palace this season?
I can't remember, but it's happened quite a few times.
No, just one match. He's missed one match this season. Manchester City.
Okay. Oh,
remember the
and
score?
we scored 2 goals. Yeah.
Right, but remember the formation we went with?
No.
We went 5 at the back.
At the back.
Ward played with the 2 of them. He had Eze, Schlupp, Decore, and Ayew, and Edouard up top. So that can't happen again, obviously.
Yeah,
that information didn't work. That didn't. It was right. My point being is that interesting that with Wilf being out, and it wasn't just Wilf out. Obviously, we were missing. Olise didn't play in that game either. Is that we have that option of having Olise back in the lineup. Obviously, now we have our 2 new signings. I'm interested to see what he decides to do, because that formation didn't work. Clearly, with the new, you're going to talk about it now, the 2 additions in midfield. I would hope that if they don't both start, which I doubt it would be, that one of them gets to play at least in the start, because we need to make that midfield a lot more fluid. Because I think without Wilf, you got to push Eze out wide, and that allows to have maybe Hughes, Decore, and maybe Lokonga play in the middle as an example. So.
Yeah, look, let's talk about the new signings, and that's there's Ahamada and of course Lokonga. But look, I would understand why Vieira wouldn't start them, because they've literally just joined. But then again, saying that, they've joined on Tuesday, they've got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and they're training already. We've seen the photos as we're speaking. They've trained with the first team.
Right.
I would like to see Lokonga start. I would. And the reason for that is because in the first half, we talked about in the first game against Manchester United, we didn't create chances. And you can make the argument, oh, the attack wasn't flowing properly and it was Mateta. But then Wilf wasn't also performing great as well in the first half. And the reason for that is because we didn't have that connection between the midfield, the defense, and the attack. And I don't want to be that guy, but Jeffrey Schlupp starting in midfield didn't help us against Manchester United. So in this game, if you're going away from home and you're facing a side that's very good at home, a side that's going to know how we play, Lokonga's been training at Arsenal. He's match fit. He's ready. Ahamada, you can make that argument. I'm not too sure. I haven't watched him as much as Stuttgart, but I'll put Lokonga. I mean, it's you might say it's difficult putting him straight away in the deep end, but I'd like to see Lokonga start alongside Doucouré. But for you guys, do you think Vieira might make them changes, especially with the new players ahead of this game, considering how difficult it will be?
So I want to jump in real quick. I think that you've got Lokonga for only 18 matches. There's no reason to have him come on loan and not play him right away. He played last week against Man City in the Cup for Arsenal. To me, you throw him right next to Doucouré because he can play on the left side of a two. He did it with Partey very well. I would have him start for sure, barring the fact I heard him talking yesterday. It's like he said he might pick up an injury. I'm not really sure, but he did train today, so hopefully that wasn't true. But he hasn't played a lot this season. He's only playing the cup matches for Arsenal, but I would put him in there. Ahamada, I would wait because he's younger. He's got to get used to our system, the country. Lokonga's played in the Premier League before. I need to see Lokonga play with Doucouré, with probably Elise ahead of him in the 10, and then maybe RU wide, and then like I thought Eze before on one side, and probably Edouard up top. But for me, again, you cannot go. Even though I got a funny feeling it's going to be Schlupp again for just one more match in that middle. I don't want to see it. You can't sign two midfielders and then play Schlupp in midfield. It's going to drive me nuts.
Especially Lokonga to the end of the season.
Exactly. It's very few games. Exactly right. Yeah.
I think, to be fair, I kind of agree with Patrick, apart from the only thing I would swap would be Elise and Eze. I'd have Eze and number 10 and Elise on the wing. But yeah, he's bang on with that one, to be fair. It's a case of Lokonga's got Premier League experience. Lokonga knows what the expectation is. Mm-hmm. There's no way in the back of his mind he's got to be thinking opportunity. It's Manchester United. It's Old Trafford. It's a time to hit the ground running. I don't know. Ahamada, I guess I think what they're going to do with him is they'll integrate him into the squad. But he's another one that looks hungry, young, exciting. So he'll want to come in and get the ground running. He seems quite confident, actually. And it seems like the manager's confident in him as well. Just by seeing like the videos of him arriving and talking about him, he's been waiting for him for a few days and all the rest of him. And he looks fearless. I think that's another important thing as well. The squad doesn't have like the grease it once had with, Jedinak and, Delaney and all these kind of guys. So why can't we go in another direction and kind of go with something a little bit more of a direct hit? So if we haven't got the arrogance and the in-your-face kind of aggression, maybe go down another path where we go with a confident, young, hungry, exciting, because you don't know how that's going to play out against a Manchester United team that's operated by somebody like Ten Hag. Because remember, Ten Hag's going to have us patterned tactically, and he's going to have them thinking that, they're going to run us over. When he brought that to Sellers, that went out the window, and we played, we stood up and we played. I think both of those players, for different reasons, have to come out and show for us. They have to, both of them. It's just for two different agendas they'll have. Ahamada, obviously, he's young, he's exciting, he's excitable, so he's going to want to go in there and prove a point. But Lokonga's going to have a little bit more of a chip on his shoulder to kind of step up and do his bits for Arsenal. So, or maybe, earn himself a move back to elsewhere come the summer. But the only way he's going to be able to do that and get himself and prove himself at a level to get into what will be a Champions League, potentially Premier League winning team, he's going to need to show us something. And he's going to need to show Arteta something. He's going to have to give him something to work with. So I think I agree with Patrick on that. I just think Elise is a little bit more effective on the wing. I think he'd give them something a little bit more worried about as a winger rather than number 10. I think if you play Elise at number 10 against the likes of Casemiro, Fred, possibly Sabitzer now, I believe it is, and Martinez, I think he gets kicked around a little bit too much. Whereas if you've got him in the wing, he can kind of potentially beat Wan-Bissaka or potentially beat Luke Shaw. So That's where
had a
my
good-
method of
he had
thinking began with it.
Yeah, he had a decent game against Manchester United as well. He scored that goal, but there were times where he did take on Luke Shaw, so it's positive there. But let's quickly talk about the league table now. So going into this game, pre-game week 21, if we do win, we'll remain 12th. If we draw, we'll remain 12th. And if we lose, we'll also remain 12th due to goal difference. So
Consistency.
we reached
like
that point of the season where the table is kind of opening up. But for you, T, in terms of expectations going into this game, is it a case of get the point by any means, and whether that's just being solid defensively, just like we did in the first game?
I mean, I think we're definitely in this, like you said, in a part of the season where teams are starting to show a little bit of separation between where they are in the table and where they're going to be fighting to be in the table. I think for us right now, getting the result is the most important thing, whether it's 3 points or it's 1 point, simply because of the fact that if we lose the match, yes, we'll still be in 12th place on point differential, but I just don't think we want to see ourselves in that situation where we find ourselves sliding down a little bit, not because of the relegation talk, but just more of the confidence side of it. I think right now in the mental side, Patrick, I think right now the important thing for the team is to put together results, especially with where we are right now, and being on the outside of the 10th spot by five or 6 points. That means you got to put some games together. You know what I'm saying? I think it's important for us to start doing that, to start showing that we're building, that we're improving. I think we need to start showing more progress. So that's why I hope, getting the result, whether it be the 3 or the 1, is just the most important thing.
Yeah, I agree. But looking at Man United's last 5 games, they did have a blip after our game. They lost against Arsenal, also a very good opponent, but that was without Casemiro, so you can make that argument. They've won their last 2 League Cup games against Nottingham Forest and also Reading as well, so FA Cup and League Cup there. So, they're still red on form, and they are dangerous, and they've made new signings as well going into this game. But in terms of the matchups, who are we looking forward to the most? For me, it's Richards versus Rashford. We kept Rashford quiet in the first game. He had nothing to do. And we're talking about one of the most informed players in the league right now. So I'm looking forward to that in the second game, because Rashford was just trying to do so much himself. But then Richards and Mark Gahey both absolutely pocketed him. Rashford done absolutely nothing in that game. So for you guys, is there any other matchups that you're looking at? Or is it just a case of stopping Rashford once again in this game?
I'm watching the game now. I'm watching the game now. I just saw them sub on Rashford, Martial, and Jadon Sancho. They subbed them on. Well. I mean, seriously. That's just scary. So listen, as much as I love Chris Richards and he was great against Rashford that game, to try and pocket him twice in 3 matches is going to be difficult. So for me, that Rashford-Richards match, if it's Richards, because Anderson could be back, and let's put Richards at right back, which is possible. I'm looking forward to that matchup. But also, honestly, anybody against Casemiro. Casemiro is just a world-class midfielder. So we all know if he dominates the midfield, we're in trouble. So that's another one I'm looking forward to. I'm really glad that Eriksen's not going to be playing, because he's a great creative force in their team. They're going to miss him a lot.
Yeah.
But for me, it's going to be Casemiro and Rashford. We got to find a way to stop those 2, and that gives us our best chance to get something out of this match.
Yeah. So in terms of score predictions, let's wrap this up now. We spoke about a lot of positives. There's new signings for both teams. We're coming into this game 2 games unbeaten. But of course, it's at Old Trafford. It's not going to be easy. I'll start off with you, AJ. How do you see this one going?
I'll take another draw, I'll take another draw. 1-0.
Yeah, I'll 100% take a draw.
I'll take another draw. I could, I say we lock down Rashford. I want to see, funny enough, you just mentioned the matchup. I want to see Mitchell versus Anthony round 2. Let's go. I want to see man get barged off the ball at Old Trafford, get turned down that little hill they got on the sidelines. I'm predicting an overdue Edward goal. And then I think Rashford's going to do his stupid head pointing thing that he allegedly invented. And then, I reckon we're going to go 1-0. 1-0 at Old Trafford. Let's go.
I'm saying that. Look, I'm going 1-0. I'm going 1-0 as well. I could have. Saying that, I'm going 1-0, but don't be surprised if it's 2-1 Man United. T and Patrick, expecting a draw? or a win?
Well, the matchup that I'm looking forward to is one you mentioned earlier, is Elise and Luke Shaw. I'm looking forward to that matchup. I think I'm interested to see how Elise combats him this second time around. Score prediction, I'm going to go with 2-2. I'm going to go with a worldy goal from Eze and a debut goal from Ahamada.
Okay, all right. He's dropped the debut goal. I mean, I was thinking, why would you go 2-2? Because I was thinking, have you not been watching Palace? Like, we barely score any goals. But then again, if Ahamada starts,
I'm thinking 2-2 because we're going to go down 2-1 and we're going to get very aggressive trying to get the tie.
Fair enough. Patrick, don't give me a Man United defeat.
Listen. You three have been great. I love your optimism. And like AJ, I'd love to see Palace win. I'm picking a 3-0 United win. I don't see any chance to win that game. No chance. I'm watching them play right now. There's no.
Patrick.
We're not ready for this. We're not ready for United right now.
Set your expectations low. That way you'll never be surprised.
Exactly. Right. And if we win, I'll be ecstatic. I'm not hoping we lose. I'm just saying, watching them play right now and knowing how we've been of late, we can't score goals at Old Trafford. You don't have a lost game at Old Trafford this season. You guys know that, right?
No.
That's why we're going to get the draw, mate.
Yeah. You do that. Oh, yeah. You didn't pick a win.
Draw. That's why I went for 1-0 as well.
I hope you guys are right. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm 3-0 United.
All right. Let us know your score predictions. We got win. No, we haven't got win. No one predicted a win. We've got draws and a defeat. How do you expect this game going? Are any of you positive that we could potentially get a win? And explain it. Why? Why do you think we could get a win at Old Trafford when they haven't lost a single game? And let's see how good your explanation is without Wilf as well. But yeah, it should be interesting to hear some of your explanations. But look, leave down your thoughts as well ahead of the game, whether you agree or disagree with us, whether you should think the new signing should start and who should replace Wilf as well. If you have enjoyed it, make sure to smash the like button and subscribe to not miss out on future Palace content. That's it from me, T, AJ, and Patrick. And until next time, up the Palace.